Hello everybody and welcome back to a very special episode of EcksToo. So what I've got to show for you here is something very, very special indeed. This is unseen footage of Star Wars 1313, the infamously cancelled game during the process of Star Wars being handed over to Disney. You might be familiar with this E3 trailer that came out a couple of years ago, and this is all we got from the game before it got cancelled. And then here we can see some gameplay going on here. But this was everything we'd seen years ago, but this was all we saw. However, that changes today with this. This is unseen Boba Fett gameplay of Star Wars 1313. Now, this is in really early prototype stages, but here we can see just a full cast of characters. This is an old game, and we're seeing a lot of characters on screen. Some really, really impressive tech here, and some pre-planned cutscenes. This is the first time I'm watching it with you guys, so I'm live reacting with you here. But this looks phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, Jedi Fallen Order was great in its storytelling, but this is something else. Like, this really feels like Star Wars, you know, like all the characters that you can interact with, and the slums of Coruscant, and so on and so forth. It's brilliant to look at, and you know, really soak this in at the first time. And honestly, you know, you get some like some assets here that haven't been animated that look quite weird, but besides that, everything else you can also see in the background there, some creatures not properly animated, but this all looks really polished for a prototype game, right? Like, phenomenal. But whilst this video clip here was actually posted on YouTube, we can see it here, posted by The Vault. Same clip pretty much, just in a much lower resolution and then cut down. We can see in the pinned comment by Luke Landwalker, it states that it didn't get far past prototyping stage, but it's really cool to see. And then check out James Zachary's profile, and this is where we get the footage from. So for people who aren't aware, James Zachary looks to be the animation director for the game when they were working on it. It says here, James Zachary, Star Wars 1313. I directed the Star Wars 1313 in-game animation team, as well as running the motion capture performances and animation pipeline. But we actually get more footage down here. So what we saw here, he said the above work was work in progress gameplay capture that highlighted in living world gameplay in Star Wars 1313. And then next it says the gameplay capture above was used to sell the environmental interaction animation pillar in Star Wars 1313. So here we've got the same UI as before, but if we pull back, we've got some skidding, and then a roll animation right at the end here. This is all like cutscene based work here. Phenomenal. Like I said, don't get me wrong, Jedi Fallen Order, great game, but to really sell the planet of Coruscant, you know, this Star Wars 1313, just look at this. It's got this like very like uncharted feel to it in terms of like pre-scripted chase sequences and animation. Amazing. So obviously what you're seeing here, this is all like pre-alpha, like prototyping stages. Whether or not this would have been in the final game, who knows? It was all up for debate. But how they managed to capture Coruscant is crazy, right? And we're not even halfway through the footage that I got to show you guys. Like, there's a lot here. Not too much, but more than I expect from a leak like this. And again, we have seen some tidbits of gameplay from official sources, but none of it had ever been leaked before. So to see Boba Fett take the limelight here is amazing, because we didn't see any Boba Fett gameplay. To reiterate, people knew this game was supposed to follow bounty hunters, specifically Boba Fett, and at the beginning of the game, you follow one particular character, and then it swaps over to Boba Fett a little bit later on. This is what we knew from various interviews of developers who were working on the game. Like, the first epilogue was supposed to be some random character, which you saw from the trailer, and then it would go on to Boba Fett. So incredible work here. But next up, we have, this is my favorite bit of gameplay pulled from the 1313 E3 demo. It features a handcrafted gameplay section. On those cutscenes, shows us this one. So this was in the trailer. You can tell there the HUD is a little bit different compared to what we saw in the prototyping stages. But these are the type of sequences we could have expected from Star Wars 1313.
I'm heading inside.
When it was like fully fleshed out. Like this looks like, you know, what it would have been like if everything in the pipeline was finished. And I gotta be honest, like, I expect this from the E3 demo. You know, like all these amazing animations and cutscenes and jumping from platform to platform. All of it heavily scripted. But we're seeing this a lot in all the other examples of videos I've shown. So, man, honestly, I'm feeling just pretty gutted because this looks incredible. Like, truly incredible. So again, we all knew that, we saw that from the original trailer, but we know that the person who worked on the previous videos I just showed you worked on that section as well. Next up, we're starting to go into much more like prototype stages. Here it says the video was used to visually communicate our 1313 animation high bar. The mission was to take a section of gameplay shown below and above, I'm assuming, and highlight our 3 animation pillars. These pillars were environmental interactions, situational awareness, and character relationships. So here, let's take a look at this.
So who is this friend?
This seems to be like just engine work at the moment. Whoa, that's amazing.
I don't see a reason not to trust him.
And here we got like scratch audio. This is just developers filling out the audio just to test it. This is amazing. What year did they initially announce this? This is what I want to know. While this cutscene is playing, let's quickly figure out Star Wars 1313. Was it 2018 or was it sooner? 2013. This game was being in development in 2013. And I gotta be honest, this tech stuff is really impressive for that year. Really impressive.
Some friend.
Quit complaining. Was it too bad?
Run.
Wow. So, like, obviously this is, like, not anything to do with the storyline. This is, again, just a pre-scripted test. Nothing to do with the Star Wars storyline. Just a demo test. But moving on to the final piece here. This is even more rough work. From the previous cutscene we just saw. And just some development processing of it. Like, how it all worked out. I guess this is, like, the previous version, right? Like, it's unfinished. The character's not interacting with its environment very well. The animations don't seem as smooth, but that's one thing. One thing I'm so surprised about in all of this footage, especially the last video I showed you, was the camera movements. Because here we can see it's very jarring, very static. You know, when you jump, the camera like weirdly shifts in different positions, especially when you go into cover there. See the camera just jitter to a new position. And that's very common in games, you know, like as the camera drastically changes into a different position. It's very jarring in some cases. Good for gameplay, but again, not very cinematic. But in the previous video, that's not the case. Like, just to quickly go back to this, look how smooth the camera is and how it's locked onto the character's head and how it bobs along depending on the character's torso and where it's currently moving according to the screen. It's crazy smooth. And watch, remember everything I said. Now watch what happens here when he runs over to that wall. Camera's so smooth. You move in, it's like butter. Like you move from one action to another, like you don't even feel it. One thing God of War 2018 did really well was the camera work, and it felt very natural. So this sort of stuff is brilliant. It's mind-boggling for 2013. It really is. And it was going to be a Star Wars game. I know this is really heavily scripted, It always is for this sort of stuff. But wow, like just brilliant. And look at the animation stuff as well.
Let me help.
Oh man, so good. Let's go back again. Let's go and see some other. Let's go and see that chase scene again. We've already seen that. Let's go and look at this chase scene. This is brilliant. So this is a bit further in on development again. Wow. And I've got to say, Boba Fett looking absolutely amazing. I'm loving this model. Just fantastic. And again, I know I've said it before, but the backdrop of Coruscant is just looking so good with all the cars in the sky and stuff. Oh, he didn't die. He grabbed on. Listen. So here we can actually see like it running at 30 FPS here as well. I think. Hard to say. The GPU, the drawing and stuff like that. Wow. It's just insane. I know it's a lot of cinematic stuff, but still, it feels like this is what the whole game could have been like. I'm just like mind boggled by it all. Like, again, I know, like, look at the camera and how smooth it transitions from action to action. It doesn't jitter when you enter into wall grabbing mode, or jitter when you, you know, jump from one pole to another. It's so seamless. It feels so natural. I truly love it. And I guess you get a nice little in-look at like how AAA games are made as well, at least back in 2013. Again, this was being in development in 2013. Fantastic. And then finally, let's have one more look at this one. This is definitely the most finished video of the lot. Here we can see in the UIs where we got a flamethrower. I'm unsure what these two are specifically. And what guns, what blasters you're running, grenades. Not much else I can see here. But wow. Like, do you remember they kind of showed us something very similar to this degree in Cyberpunk, and people were like, wow. And I know this isn't no Cyberpunk E3 trailer, but this was 2013, like almost 10 years ago. Games have changed a lot since then, and it's looking just fantastic. But yeah, that's what I wanted to bring to you guys. The reason I'm putting this all together in one video for you lot is just because we don't know how long these videos are going to stay up, whether or not Disney wants them taken down in any capacity. Because as far as I know, many of the developers from Star Wars 1313 haven't shown us anything. Because it's like it's a weird like balance of like, you know, are you allowed to? Is it Disney's property? Is it your property? That sort of thing, you know. So whether or not this will stay up is another question. But there you go. This is what we found. It's jameszachary.com. So definitely check out his portfolio of all the games he's worked on. And I'll leave all of those links to the videos and his portfolio in the description and the pinned comment. And of course, if you love everything that is Star Wars and Star Wars gaming, just join our Discord. We've got so many people joining and loads of people playing Empire at War right now. So if you want to play against some people or just talk about Star Wars games in general, invite code to our Discord in the pinned comment down below as well. But besides that, guys, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.